Hi everyone, so I'm back today with a tutorial for you, which is a very special one. It's actually using a Cool Katz kit, but it's one which I've designed myself. So it's following my theme of making the most out of a 12 by 12 paper. And this is an album you may have seen before. It's made using just 3 sheets of 12 by 12 cardstock. So this was the Neverland one by Bella. But today I'm going to be making it with some mechanical Seaworld by Stamperia. So in this kit, you have got your MDF cover and spine. You will also get some hinge spacers, and you will get your artist marker, and this is the game changer for me, some extra wide archetype. Now this, along with the MDF, is going to give you such a professional finish to your album. The cover, I can't explain to you how strong and how luxurious it is, because it's got that fabric texture. And it's wrapped nicely all the way around. The finish, it's really amazing. And you'll also get some instructions I've written with photos. So if you prefer to print something out and have them at your side as you craft, you can have me right there by your side. So let's get going. So you've got your kit. You've got your papers chosen. So I've got this one for the cover. You do need to choose your cover paper before you assemble your cover. I've got my archetype, and I just need a pair of scissors and my bone folder or my Teflon tool, which I like to use, again from the Cool Katz. This is their multi-tool. So let's get going. So let's put the paper aside so I don't get any ink on it. I'm going to start off by preparing my cover. So you get the Pebble marker. Now when you get it, this bit will be white, but I've used it already. So what you need to do is get the ink flowing. Just pump your pen a couple of times, and you're just going to run the pen around the 3 sides of the cover. Move the bottom one so you can see. Just like that. Now you don't really need to cover it as thick as that, as wide as that, because you're only going to be seeing a tiny bit of it. So what I'm going to do then is do the same on those thin edges. Now this bit you are going to see, so make sure you give it a nice good coating. Now this method means you're not using any tape, you're not using any of your cardstock. There's going to be no card going over the spine, so you're not going to get any cracking. And I said, it just gives you that really nice finished look. It's really professional. And then I'm going to do the same on this one. Down 3 sides. Down our edge. Now you may notice I didn't bother with the 4th edge, purely because it's going to be covered in our archetype, so you're not going to see it. So this is my uncovered one, so I need to just do these 3. Now I'll show you on my Neverland one how much black you actually need to put on. I'm going overboard here just to show you on camera. Let's have a look at, here's the Neverland one. But you can see on this, you are literally only seeing a millimetre, if that. So there's your cover prepped. So now we're going to get to our extra wide archetype. So what you need to do is have some excess on the top, bring it around the bottom, and come back up to the top. So you don't want too much excess. Let's just fold it there. So I've got a little line to follow. So that's my extra wide tape sorted. Now I did say you needed to choose your paper beforehand, and this is the reason why, because we're going to cover our covers. So I'm going to use this Seaworld one, the seahorse, purely because that seahorse fitted perfectly in that space there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut my paper at 8.5 inches tall. So let me just get my cutter. So it's going to be 8.5 tall. I want a little bit more of the top of my seahorse to show. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to trim off a little bit from the bottom. If I do 1/2 inch, I may be able to use that somewhere else then. So again, let's get back to 8.5. It's all about working around your paper. Maximize what you've got. So that bit now will be used for pockets or lining the inside of wallets or something like that. Now we're going to see, let's have a look. When you do your album, you will see just under 5.5 inches of it. So let's have a look where my 5.5 inches would come. If I cut it, 5.5 there, I'm going to lose a little bit of his nose. So what I'm going to do again, let's come back and cut off 1/2 inch. So again, I've got this nice piece. Actually, that could go on the inside cover with me. It should fit perfectly. So I've got one piece ready for something else. So if you cut off in a nice measurement like 1/2 inch, you'll find you may be able to use them somewhere else. Now I want this at 5. Well, we're going to see 5.5. So I'm actually going to cut it at 5 3/4. We want a little bit tucked under our tape. I don't need to be precise with that. So that's going to go on our front cover. Now it's up to you now. I think I'll have that bit showing on the back. So for the back piece, you want at least 4 inches. And again, we've got a nice piece to use somewhere else then, which is the height of our album. So it's actually usable. So let's just bring some distress ink in just to finish off our edges. Now on the cover bit, on the front, that left-hand side isn't going to be exposed, so I'm not going to waste time inking that. The same on this. This bit here is going to be under my archetype, so I don't need to bother inking that. I'll just do the bits we'll see. There we have. So now let's bring in our covers and our spine. So this is the front off to the left, and this will be the back, off to the right, and this will be the back off to my left. So we're just going to glue them on. So use some nice strong glue for this. We are attaching to MDF, so some nice book binding, or I've got my Cosmic Shimmer acrylic glue here. And you want to get nice up and close up to that edge because you don't want your cover to lift off. And I find it easier if I just turn around so I can look at both corners at the same time, just to make sure it's nice and even. So I've got a nice even black border. So you can really see now how little of that black pen, how far I actually needed to come in. So you can see it's hardly anything there. So make sure it's burnished nice and flat. And we're just going to repeat on the back. So turn it side on. So nice and close on this edge here, because that's a bit, it's going to be exposed. Bit too much glue there. I do think Mechanical Seaworld is one of my favourite Stamperia pads. And there we have the back done. And our spine. So before we get to our archetype, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my ruler and I'm going to mark, you can mark 1 inch or 1 1/4 inches. So let me see where his nose is. Am I going to miss his nose? Yeah. So I'm going to do 1 1/4. Now obviously you could come further in if you wanted a 2-inch one, but make sure if you do have more tape on the front, you may need to extend your paper on the back so that that MDF isn't exposed. Okay, but 1 or 1 1/2, 1 or 1 1/4 will be fine with that 4 inches there. So I've marked my 1 1/4. I'm just going to flip it over just because I can use my T-square bit. I'm just going to draw a line joining up those marks. So now I have a nice straight line, 1 1/4 inches in from my cover. I'm going to grab my Teflon tool ready. I'm going to put my bits just out off to the side there. And I need my 1/4 inch hinge spacers ready to go as well. So let's grab my tape. I think this wasn't the one I cut. This is the one I cut. That was a leftover. So I'm going to just take off the backing. Just taking away the corner. A little bit there. So now we're going to have to be careful because we've got all that exposed tape there. I'm just going to take it off to the side. And what I'm going to do, I need a couple of inches off to my left hand side here, off the top of my cover. I'm peeling back some more of the tape, and what I'm doing, you'll have a look, this bit is still covered with that backing, so I can actually use that, and I'm I'm lining up on that pencil line. Now, as I said, be careful because there is exposed tape further down here. So just be extra careful. You don't want it sticking to your table. And flip it over. So just be careful because you have got all that exposed tape. There we go. So our cover has now been stuck to our archetype. Now all this bit where I've just peeled off, I'm actually just going to cut some of that off for me. I cut just 2 pieces. So don't need to be straight or anything. Just some wax paper so that you can put above, peel off some more here and below. That's just so that when we use our hinge spacers, it's not going to stick to the tape. If I just put it down there, it's a nightmare to get off. So what I'm going to do is use my hinge spacer and just place it against my cover like that. So don't press it down onto the tape or anything, you're just placing them there. Because that then allows you to take your spine and just slot it in between the two of them, like so. And that's giving you your 1/4 inch space between your spine and cover. You haven't had to measure anything. It's nice and straight. It's such an easy way of doing things. Again, move them across. Now this time you want your paper face down and off to your right. I'm going to slot it in so that these guides keep everything so straight. No measuring. We just lift the spacer. We're going to take off the top tape. Here we are. And you're just going to take your Teflon tool. Now, remember, this arc tape is strong, so it can be stiff. So what we're going to do is just work it up slowly. Okay. And I'm rubbing my tool along that edge so that I'm making contact with the top and bottom there. Now I'm just going to keep it nice and tight. I'm just going to bring it over and rub it down. That's the glue for my fingers. There we go. I'm just going to burnish it down. Now it's easier if I just flip my album over, take off that bit I had from attaching the spines earlier, and I'm just going to do exactly the same. I'm just working my arc tape up, just slowly work it up. You want nice sharp corners. So now I'm going to peel back the rest of this. Let's be dangerous, let's take it all off. And I'm keeping it nice and tight over the edge. So I'm just keeping it pulled down. And it should line up pretty nicely with the bottom. Like so. So just keep burnishing. Make sure you've got nice contact, and you'll see how strong this is now. So when I lift it, it's actually keeping it in place like that. And that is your cover done. It's got that nice straight edge there. You've got a nice fabric spine. So that's all we need to do now is fold it. So I'm just finding where that gap is and bringing it up. Now you'll see it bubbles up there. That doesn't matter. I just push it down just to get a bit of a nicer finish there. You don't have to. Let's burnish a little bit more. Find that gap. Yeah. And then I just push it in. There we go. Same on the bottom. Let's just push it in. And that is your Arthur Folio cover complete. Of course, you can go back now and you can add some extra embellishments onto it, build it up. But I think because I chose my papers quite carefully there, I could pretty much just leave it as it is. So that is how to cover your Arthur Folio. Now inside then is up to you. On this one, I followed my Abigail tutorial. So everything inside fitted exactly the same as it did in my original album. So I've got my waterfall here with my locking paws. I've used some more of my buckle dies from Cool Katz there to decorate my pouch. And then I got my flip book for my 6x4 photos there. And again, designed to make the most out of your 12x12 papers, because the pages, or the decorative bits of the pages, are only 6 inches wide. So when you cut your paper down the middle into 6 inches, it'll always just fit the width of our pages. So hopefully inspired you to have a go. If you do buy the kit and have a go at making your own, would really love to see what you've done. You can share in my Facebook group called Paper Crafting with Paul, or on the Cool Katz page on Facebook too, which is just called Cool Katz. I'll link to both groups in the description below. But hopefully I'll be back soon with some more ideas on how you can fill this as well. So if you've liked it, click that thumbs up button. Hit the subscribe if you haven't done so already, and you'll just get some notifications when I've got some new ideas coming up for these albums and other projects. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again soon.